The sirens were a symphony of chaos. They were a constant in Detective Isabella Izzy Diaz's world. The flashing lights painted the Los Angeles streets in hues of red and blue. Each pulse mirrored the frantic beat of her heart. It was a rhythm of urgency and a constant reminder of why she was here. Los Angeles was a city that whispered tales of dreams and nightmares. For Izzy, it was the stage of her greatest tragedy and her unwavering resolve. 10 years ago, it stole a piece of her soul, her twin sister Sophia. Now it was the city where she sought solace in the pursuit of justice. Every case, every victim, was a haunting echo of her past. Izzy's phone vibrated, pulling her back to the present. Another homicide, another chance to face the darkness that consumed her. "Diaz here," she answered, her voice sharp and alert. Her partner, Detective Ben Carter, glanced at her, his brow furrowed with concern. "We got a lead," he said, his voice gruff but reassuring. Izzy gripped the phone tighter. "Every second counts, Ben." Each case was personal, a promise whispered to the ghost that haunted her every waking moment. Sophia, with her infectious laugh and eyes that mirrored Izzy's own, was a constant presence. The pursuit of justice was her only solace, a promise she made at Sophia's grave. Growing up, Izzy and Sophia were two halves of the same soul. Inseparable, they navigated the bustling streets of LA, their laughter echoing through the crowded marketplaces and quiet parks. They shared secrets whispered under the covers and dreams painted on their bedroom ceiling. Sophia was the gentler soul, drawn to art and music. Izzy, with her fierce spirit, gravitated towards justice, always standing up for the underdog. Their bond was unbreakable, forged in shared laughter and whispered dreams. But fate, it seemed, had a cruel twist in store. 10 years ago, their world shattered. Sophia, vibrant and full of life, became another statistic in the city's relentless cycle of violence. Murdered. The word itself was a shard of ice in Izzy's heart. The police investigation had gone cold. The lack of answers fueled Izzy's grief, turning it into a burning ember of determination. She couldn't bear the thought of her sister's killer walking free, breathing the same air, laughing under the same sky. The memory of Sophia's lifeless eyes haunted her dreams. She had to find the killer. She had to become the justice Sophia deserved. 3 years ago, amidst the chaos and grief, entered Ethan. He was a ray of sunshine in Izzy's storm-tossed world. A writer drawn to the city's hidden stories, he was charming, attentive, and understood her pain in a way no one else could. He listened with gentle eyes as she spoke of Sophia, his hand reaching for hers, offering comfort and understanding. Ethan became her anchor, a source of warmth and light in the darkness that threatened to consume her. He understood her silences, her sudden withdrawals, and the haunted look in her eyes whenever she passed a crime scene. He never pushed, offering solace and support with a gentle touch and understanding words. Slowly, Izzy found herself falling for him, her heart thawing under his unwavering affection. He brought laughter back into her life, coaxing out smiles that she thought were lost forever. For the first time since Sophia's death, Izzy felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe, just maybe, she could allow herself to be happy again. She clung to Ethan, his love a lifeline in a sea of grief and unanswered questions. Their love story unfolded like chapters in a book. Ethan proposed on a rainy afternoon, sheltering her from the downpour just as he shielded her from her pain. It felt like a scene from one of his novels, romantic and perfect. As he slipped the ring onto her finger, a promise of forever etched in the glistening diamond, a flicker of doubt crossed Izzy's mind. It was fleeting, quickly replaced by the warmth of his embrace and the sincerity in his eyes. But lately, things had been different. Ethan seemed distant, his thoughts miles away. His gaze, once filled with warmth, now held a flicker of something else. Unease. Guilt? Izzy brushed off the unsettling feeling. She was a detective, her mind attuned to danger, to the shadows lurking beneath the surface. Perhaps it was the stress of her job, the constant exposure to the city's darkness seeping into her personal life. One evening, while going through old case files at their apartment, Izzy stumbled upon a detail that sent a chill down her spine. It was a sketch from Sophia's case, a profile of a potential suspect. The resemblance to Ethan was uncanny. Her heart pounded in her chest. Could it be? Was it possible that the man she loved, the man who had become her world, was responsible for her sister's death? Section 5. The night of revelation. The world around Izzy crumbled. The man she loved, the man who held her heart in his hands, was a stranger, a monster hiding in plain sight. The evidence was insurmountable, each piece like a shard of glass piercing her soul. Photographs, old news clippings, and a hidden box tucked away in the attic, containing a scarf that belonged to Sophia, all pointed to Ethan. The realization hit her like a physical blow. The loving gaze, the shared laughter, the whispered promises, all a carefully constructed facade. Betrayal cut deeper than any physical wound. She had welcomed him into her life, into her heart, and he had used her vulnerability, her grief, to get closer to her. One evening, Ethan returned home early, a chillingly calm demeanor masking the storm brewing in his eyes. He confessed. He spoke of his past, of a moment of uncontrolled rage that led to Sophia's death. He claimed it was an accident, a mistake he deeply regretted, but as he spoke, a chilling truth dawned on Izzy. He hadn't come clean out of remorse. He was trying to silence her, to bury his past forever. "You're just like her, Izzy," Ethan said, his voice cold and devoid of emotion, always so quick to judge, to condemn. He advanced towards her, a glint of madness in his eyes. The man she loved was gone, replaced by a stranger fueled by desperation and a chilling sense of entitlement. In that moment, Izzy knew she was fighting for her life. Adrenaline surged through her veins, her training kicking in. She dodged his attack, her mind racing. This was not the loving fiancé, the understanding partner. This was a predator, and she was his prey. She lunged for the phone, but he was quicker. He slammed her against the wall, the air knocked out of her lungs. "You won't get away with this," she gasped, her voice hoarse but filled with defiance. "Sophia won't let you." The mention of her sister's name seemed to enrage him further. He lunged again, but Izzy was ready. She fought back with the ferocity of a woman protecting her life, her every move fueled by a decade of suppressed grief and rage. The fight felt like an eternity, a brutal dance between love and betrayal. Izzy managed to grab a heavy bookend, using it to strike Ethan. He stumbled back, giving her the opportunity to escape. She ran, the adrenaline carrying her through the darkness. The storm outside mirrored the tempest raging within her. The rain washed away the tears that streamed down her face, a baptism by fire that left her scarred but not broken. The police arrived to find Ethan gone. He had vanished into the night, leaving behind a trail of shattered trust and broken promises. Izzy, bruised and battered but alive, knew this was not the end. It was just the beginning. As she looked at her reflection in the mirror, at the woman staring back at her, she saw a strength she didn't know she possessed. She had survived, not just physically, but emotionally. The ordeal had tempered her spirit, forging it into something unbreakable. Sophia's face, etched in her memory, became a beacon, a constant reminder of the promise she had made. She would find Ethan. She would bring him to justice. And she would honor Sophia's memory by dedicating her life to ensuring that no one else suffered the same fate. The journey to becoming a homicide detective was grueling, each day a test of her physical and emotional limits. But Izzy persevered, driven by the memory of her sister and the desire to protect others from the darkness she had encountered. The LAPD became her sanctuary, her colleagues her new family. They understood her drive, the haunted look in her eyes, the silence that descended whenever a case hit too close to home. Every case, every victim, was a chance to right a wrong, to be the voice for those who could no longer speak for themselves. Izzy's reputation preceded her. She was known for her tenacity, her unwavering focus, and her ability to connect with victims' families, to offer them a glimmer of hope in their darkest hour. But the weight of her past was a constant companion. The fear of encountering another Ethan, the suspicion that lurked in the shadows, never truly left her. Yet, she refused to let it break her. She channeled her anger, her grief into her work, becoming a shield against the darkness, a beacon of hope in the city's underbelly. Years passed, but the memory of Sophia and the pursuit of her killer remained Izzy's driving force. Each successful case, every perpetrator brought to justice, was a victory for her sister, a testament to the enduring power of love and the unwavering pursuit of truth. The hunt for Ethan became her life's mission. She chased every lead, followed every whisper, her resolve never wavering. She knew he was out there, living under an assumed identity, his past a shadow he couldn't outrun. and she would be ready when he slipped, when the facade cracked and his true nature resurfaced. The inscription on Sophia's headstone read, "Her light shines on." And it did, reflected in Izzy's unwavering commitment to justice. Every sunrise was a promise to keep her memory alive, to ensure that her story, and the stories of countless others, fueled the fire that burned bright within her. For Izzy, justice wasn't just a job, it was a promise whispered on a grave, a debt owed to a love that transcended even death itself.